Artist, architect, writer, and one of the city's most well-known figures, Giorgio Vasari, is the center of attention this winter at the Uffizi, with an exhibition examining his at times controversial relationships with various artists from Bologna. 450 years after the publication of Lives of the Artists, the Uffizi hosts Vasari, d'Odio e d'Amore, the exhibition that narrates the complex and at times contradictory relationships between Vasari and his contemporaries from across the Apennines, with a selection of drawings and paintings by amico Albertini, Prospero Fontana, and of course Giorgio Vasari. Visiting Bologna in 1539, Vasari was critical about the Bolognesi artists, claiming they were arrogant and without substance. After this initial visit, and having compared his profound artistic education that allowed him to jump from provincial painter to Medici artist to that of the self-taught informal education of the Bolognese artists, his relationship with Bologna changed greatly. He eventually approved of the successive generation of artists. The words of Vasari's lives are omnipresent throughout the exhibition and add a new perspective to the paintings and drawings, allowing the visitor to explore Vasari's relationships and opinions of the artists. Among others, notable artists in the exhibition are amico Albertini, initially claimed by Vasari as devoid of rules. He was one of the leading exponents of the Bolognese school, and Prospero Fontana, with whom Vasari was easily able to collaborate and work alongside. The Uffizi have chosen to borrow a few works for the exhibition, drawing on their own rich collection to explore this rare theme and to bring it under the magnifying glass of Florence. Make sure you catch the exhibition from the 9th of October to the 2nd of December in the Sala Edoardo Detti at the Uffizi Gallery.
Well, the Uffizi has a fabulous collection of Bolognese drawings of the Renaissance period. It's also particularly interesting since the Uffizi as a museum, in a way, is very closely connected to the personality of Giorgio Vasari, who wrote the first modern history of art at length. Not the first modern art history that happened already with Ghiberti a century earlier, but the first detailed history of art, the Vite dei pittori, architettori e scultori, which was first published in 1550 and then a second enlarged edition in 1568. Now, Vasari was very skeptical towards not just Venetian but also Bolognese artists, and because the 16th century was the moment that these local schools tried to identify themselves, to find their own models and to find their particular ideals also theoretically, it is a moment of discussion and a moment of a dialogue and debate. Now, Vasari started out critically, but then actually he made friends with Bolognese artists, and some of them, most famously Prospero Fontana, who was also the father of Lavinia Fontana, the great paintress, even collaborated very closely with Vasari. So we see this history of love and hate in this exhibition on the basis of several true masterpieces from our collection, from other museums that came here on loan, and also several paintings that illustrate the functions of the drawings.